Hi guys, good morning. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. They mean the world to me. If you're interested in subscribing to the channel and supporting the channel financially in that way, you can go to patreon.com and choose a subscription level. It will get you the daily forecast a day early, depending on the level that you choose. There's also other readings that are available only over on Patreon every month. So go check that out. If you have any questions, you can ask me at the Facebook business page. If you're interested in a private reading, I can also be booked through there or through the Engelgeist email at Gmail. And that's it. Please follow all of my socials if you're watching this and you're new to me. I greatly appreciate it. All of that stuff is findable via the YouTube channel or the Facebook business page if you search around. And this is the broad spectrum reading for the Greater Collective for the date of Wednesday the 16th. I'm sorry about yesterday's sound issues on the 15th video. I guess my computer was picking up an external camera's mic and it wasn't connecting or working. So I hopefully have fixed it today. Perfect, new moon, solar eclipse kind of snafu, I think. Yesterday's cards were quite nice. We also had that relaxed stone, which was basically telling me this morning as I was dealing with the audio issues or, not figuring out why things weren't working, that, just take it in stride and relax, enjoy. We had the Seven of Pentacles yesterday, which is about success through hard work. That grounded Pentacles energy coincides with the Three of Pentacles we saw earlier, the day before. So we're still on that good path for those of you that might be concerned. Those cards that we had yesterday were quite lovely. So know that that's still going on and accessible to you. Kind of talking a lot about stuff I don't normally talk about. So what else was I going to say? So since this is a broad spectrum reading for the collective, it may or may not fit exactly. You're going to have to figure out where it fits in your life. If for some reason nothing does make sense or doesn't fit, that's completely fine. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong. You just may be working on something different at this time. For those of you that do, this reading does make sense or it does resonate with you and you are placing it somewhere in your life, if you make any decisions regarding your day-to-day life from any of my videos, know that those decisions are your own responsibility. Always use your own intelligence and intuition first and foremost over anything that I may say. Also, please, if you're given advice, suggestions from people that are professionals in their field, like doctors, lawyers, therapists, please always do what they say first and foremost over anything I say. Again, utilizing your own intuition, your own intelligence first. That's what we want for you, even through watching these videos. What else was I going to say? I think that's it. I know I'm missing something. I can feel it, but it's just been a weird couple of days. I honestly think it has to do with the eclipse and everything that's going on. We've got some really strange planetary stuff coming around, so I'm just kind of trying to roll with it, limp my way through. All right, so let's see what else we need to know this week. Oh, that's the other thing I'm not saying. This is also a timeless message. Originally, it's created for December 16th, Wednesday, right? But for those of you that might be watching this on a date that's not December 16th, you don't need to turn this video off. It may be reaching you just when you need it. I usually trust that that's how sort of synchronicity and spirit work in our lives. So if you're seeing this at a date that's different than the 16th, don't worry. It might still apply to you. It might be exactly when you need to see it. So just continue to watch the video and see if it makes any sense to you. All right, so now let's get into this. What do we need to know for this reading? What is for our highest good or going to benefit us the most? All right, so we have the Knight of Swords. Swords is the element of air and the mind. The Knight can sometimes be a little bit, get ahead of himself a little bit, right? He usually is about wanting to take quick, decisive action. He wants to get in there. He wants to do some stuff. He wants to make things happen. He wants to do it from a place of clarity, but I think that he's not as measured or as careful as, say, like the Queen or the King, right? The Knight can sometimes be a little bit impulsive in a way, but he's not ever doing anything for the wrong reason, if that makes any sense. So I feel like as we're looking at this, this would be a sort of, not necessarily a taking action day, but we're definitely thinking on what it is that we want. We're focused on it. We might be focused in a little bit of obsession is kind of the feeling that I'm getting with this night. I also feel like we might be a little bit sort of, I don't know why, but I'm feeling a little bit of frustration, and that's not necessarily a Knight of Swords energy, but I feel a little bit of frustration with this night. More like our own internal frustration with the fact that we can't maybe move forward as fast as we want to, right? This to me feels like a big jump from the last 2 days of Pentacles energy that we've been seeing. So if there's some of you that are feeling like you can see what you want, you know what you want to sort of start to take the steps, but you're not really sure how, or you're not really sure why you can't. There might be something standing in your way that might be limiting you, or that you're feeling limited by. That also might be what's creating that sort of slight frustration that I feel. Don't let that get in your way. The Knight can still be productive. He can still sort of make decisions, take action, move forward. We just want to be more, I don't know, careful about it, aware. I just get this feeling that we need to sort of look at the minor details in a way, because if we're not, we might miss something. I don't think that this is super bad if we do miss it, but we want to make sure that we kind of, I feel like with the energy of the cards that we've been seeing this week and the weekly reading from Sunday, we want to make sure that we're doing sort of everything we can to get the optimum results from what we have being laid at our feet this week, as far as what we can get accomplished, right? We have the beauty of that Eight of Wands, which is definitely that fast-moving energy that we would see mimicked here in the Knight of Swords, right? He sometimes gets out ahead of himself. He sometimes, jumps. He thinks and then jumps really quickly and maybe doesn't think a few steps ahead, where like the king or the queen would think more, the queen more intuitively, the king more pragmatically, but he would think ahead a few more steps before making a move. The Knight's like, no, let's go now, right? So I kind of get a feeling that we might feel like we can't move. That line through the center of the circle there feels like it's stopping the Knight for some reason as I'm looking at this card. And the red, and to me, and his face sort of look a bit frustrated. So if we sort of see the steps we want to take in our lives for going after whatever it is, there might be a slight pause. There might be something that we need to be aware of catching before we move forward. That's kind of like what I feel his message is today to us. Right? Why he's showing up is he's like, okay, that's great. We want to move. We know we want to move. We're clear on what we want, but let's just double check our steps. Or so. It's kind of got that vibe to it. We have that Four of Wands underneath this, right? So that to me also is about stabilizing some of that Wands energy and really bringing it home, really like kind of netting the fish or catching the prize, right? We want to do that, and through doing that with that Four of Wands underneath this Knight of Swords, to me it's about think clearly, then act kind of thing. Don't necessarily think it all the way through is sort of the message that I'm getting. Let's see what... This also explains to me why yesterday's stone was relaxed, because to me this Knight did not feel relaxed. He feels like he's ready to make some sort of movement. All right, let's see what the Song of My Heart has to say. I cultivate a safe harbor. Like Akaroa Harbor is a sheltered haven, I maintain my own sacred space. I almost feel like it's sort of funny, but do you see how she is facing the Knight and the Knight is facing her? I almost feel like this is getting in our own, not getting in our own way, but us needing to step in front of ourselves and stop us from doing something that we maybe need to think through before we take action. Is the feeling that I'm getting from this. I feel like the red in the Knight is hot and fiery, even though this is not a fire energy, right? This is an air energy. It's a swords card, but to me, it feels like it's ready to move. It's ready to go. Let's do this kind of vibe. And it's got this little bit of impatience to it that it doesn't, I don't want to say that it doesn't sit well with me, but it just sort of feels like it could open the door for like maybe a mistake or two. When I look at this, I cultivate a safe harbor. She's in all of these purple, blues, and green tones. To me, it feels like she's trying to stop him by standing in his way, cultivating him. She almost has an allure to her with that breast exposed, right? And that beautiful river of like that slowness. She's trying to cool this night's jets in a way, the feeling that I get. And I think that the cultivation of a safe harbor to me feels like we need to remind ourselves that there's a clock ticking in a way, but if some of you are obsessed with time, perfection, those sort of trappings of the mind or the ego where we think, oh, we need to execute it in X amount of steps or else it's not successful, or we need to hurry and rush, or, oh shit, I gotta get it done before Christmas. Whatever it is that's going on for us that might be creating that impatience that I sense with this night, we need to calm that down is the feeling that I'm getting from these cards. And also that calming down, coupled that Four of Wands that's underneath this, that would speak also to like grounding some of that spiritual energy that we get in the Wands from the 8 yesterday. We were also seeing that grounding effect happening through the Pentacles cards that were in the previous 2 readings. So I think that it's almost like we're revving our engine to move forward, but we need to almost even out our energy or know that we're in a state of that, like almost like this cultivate a safe harbor feels to me like we need to remind ourselves we are in a safe space, that everything will be fine, that we can manage this, that we don't need to force ourselves or force others or force the situation, rush things. If we do, we could end up not seeing some important detail, and we don't want that to happen. Does that make sense, guys? Let's see what the grounding stone is for the day. So this is wealth. Again, I feel like this wealth stone to me feels like grounding ourselves in the safe harbor and the wealth that we have. This wealth stone is not going to stand up, I feel like. And I mean wealth can mean financial wealth, correct? But it can also mean just sort of the blessings that we have. It can be spiritual wealth. It can be emotional wealth. It can be, intelligence in a way and how our mind works. And I feel like we need to focus on that, ground in what we have, allow those things where we are abundant. If we focus on those things, we also sort of cultivate that safe harbor that we see in this card that kind of calms everything down. There's a softer side between this, and I don't know if you guys see this with me, but with this, I cultivate a safe harbor. That exposed breast feels to me like she's almost trying to divert the knight's attention. Right? There's almost a sort of soft sensuality to her. There's a feminine aspect. There's a more nurturing, subconscious, intuitive space to that card that's trying to grab the knight's attention. The more egoic, rush in, get things done, make quick decisions, that sort of thing that the knight wants to do. There's a power in both of these, right? But if we blend these two together, we have this sort of idea of a wealth. The knight will make the right decisions for the right reasons, albeit a little bit impetuously, or maybe, not think things all the way through. But if we blend these two and bring them to this state of what I see as kind of like, it's funny, but that Four of Wands energy, which is that high, fast action Wands energy, but it's grounded in that number of the 4 and that kind of communion of the 4 Wands coming together to sort of stabilize what it is we want. We can sort of move this forward into the week without it being sort of reckless, indecisive, missing something. That's sort of this Knight of Wands energy. So just be mindful, whatever you feel like you want to do, if you're feeling impatient, if you're feeling stuck, because I feel like that's some of this Knight's energy, relax. Focus on what you have. Focus on the things that are going right in your life right now. Focus on the things that are working. That's the wealth stone. That's what we want to ground in. That's also going to bring us to this state where we can get back to that inspiration stone that we see from Sunday's reading. That's ultimately underneath here, is we're looking for inspiration this week. Where are things working? Where are things serving us? Where are we doing, what we would consider to be the right thing? Right? And as we do that, I think that we open ourselves up to more experiences of wealth, more experiences of inspiration. We also sort of are able to stay seated or aware of this safe harbor that is within us, within our minds, within our lives, that sort of a thing. Even if things aren't working perfectly right now, right? There may be things we want to change. There might be situations we no longer want to deal with, all of that sort of stuff. But if we move too quickly, or we jump to conclusions, or whatever this night is trying to stop us from doing, and each one of you might be doing something different. If we sit more in a presence sort of time space, which is this space of a safe harbor, knowing that no matter what's going on around us, we are okay. We also are able to connect to this wealth that we have, this abundance that we have. And again, I feel like even though there's an impatience and maybe a frustration with this night, these are not bad cards. This is about us checking in the midweek and really kind of grounding our desires in that Four of Wands energy and almost refocusing them, reestablishing them, keeping them kind of in check to a degree. As we move forward, we have a lot of weird planetary stuff finishing out this year. So we want to make sure that we're working towards something positive versus, jumping towards the first thing, or grabbing the first thing, or jumping to conclusions, or pushing things through when it's not quite yet time. To me, this safe harbor says that we are going to be okay. The focus on the wealth stone to me speaks to the idea that there is abundance going on in our life. We need to be able to reflect upon that right now and stay kind of connected to that. And as we stay connected to that, things will begin to continue to flourish, and that inspiration will continue to connect to us, and we will still continue to be driven or excited by things. The Knight of Swords is not necessarily a bad card. To me, I get this impatience, frustration energy from this card today. But there is an opportunity here for us to look at things, think things through, make decisions, defend ourselves, do what we need to do to get things done. It might just be a day or two before we actually should take action, is the feeling that I get. That is your forecast for the day, guys. I'm really sorry about yesterday's sound issues, but everything happens for a reason, so I'm just going to relax about it, like the stone said yesterday, and not get too worried about it. I'll just check my mics for the next few days and make sure that we don't have any issues going forward. Please hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Please share the video out. Hit the thumbs up button too. That's huge and helps me a lot. I'm trying to grow this channel and it's not quite working as well as I thought it should. So any help from you guys is greatly, greatly appreciated. If you're interested in a private reading, feel free to message me at the Facebook business page. Ask any questions for those of you that are new to me. And I can answer them for you there. Also, comments and questions on the YouTube page are completely accepted and appreciated, and I try and answer them as best I can. And I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.